Welcome to the Strong Baby Mama Show. I'm your host, Cortaiga Collins. You may have noticed that the set is a little bit different this month. Well, that's because we are on location. This month we are featuring Cortaiga, Unashamed, Uncensored. So we are on location in my home. So welcome to my living room. The Strong Baby Mama concept came about during my individual reading time, reading the Bible. And when I read the story of Abram, Sarai, and Hagar, I believe it's when God gave me revelation of that situation from a different perspective. I had always been taught about the Ishmael being something negative, and God gave me revelation of that story from Hagar's perspective. And if you're not familiar with that story, Abram was promised a child by God. But the thing was, Abram was very old and he thought he was beyond his years of being able to sire a child. Not only that, his wife was well beyond her childbearing years. And the way with women had passed her, which to me means that she had already gone through menopause. So they didn't think that they were going to be able to produce a child. They got a little weary and they're waiting on God's promise to be fulfilled, which we all do sometimes. So they decided to do what we like to do sometimes and help God out. And in that situation, what they did was they got Sarah's handmaid, which was Hagar. They asked her to almost be a surrogate to some point, but a little bit different. She was given to Abram as wife, and they conceived a child, and they called his name Ishmael. And after that situation happened, Sarai at that time had a change of heart, and she no longer wanted this child Ishmael to be in her home. Hagar began to despise Sarah because she thought that she maybe was better or more important to Abram because she had given him a child. And God began to reveal to me that that's what happens in single parent relationships sometimes. We're in a relationship. We think the next step is to have sex and have babies out of wedlock. And that's just been kind of the norm. It's been our custom. And so during that situation, God revealed to me that Hagar was a baby mama, so to speak. And even though she was a willing pawn in their whole scheme, she was mistreated, I thought, or things did not go the way that she wanted them to go. So during the time of me reading that story, God reminded me that sometimes baby mamas, we get the short end of the stick. Not to say that we haven't had some part to play in our situation, but sometimes we get what seems like the short end of the stick. So the strong baby mama concept came about through revelation of scripture that God had given to me during that time. And not only that, God reminded me that my own personal situation was similar. During the time, years prior, I was in a relationship with someone with whom I was not married, or to whom I was not married, and a child was conceived through that relationship. And while I was pregnant with this child, the father of the child married another woman while I was pregnant, and it was totally a shock to me. We worked together. And I happened to be on the phone with one of my coworkers, and I heard in the background, he's getting married today. He's not at work today. He's getting married. And you can imagine that was totally traumatic for me. And that started off a chain of events that I went stark crazy because I was pregnant. I was highly emotional. And it was just a tough situation. Well, through that situation, through the hurt and the rejection and the pain that I experienced during that situation, God used it to draw me with loving kindness, and he developed my relationship with him. And he basically healed me from the hurt, from the anger, from the bitterness. And when I tell you I was bitter, you can't know the half of some of the things that I did. I was the epitome of baby mama drama. I turned into his worst nightmare. But God healed me through the situation, and I got through it. Had a healthy, happy baby, and eventually got married to the man of my dreams. And I was just living a wonderful life. But God reminded me of that situation, how hurt I was, and how it was His love that brought me back to the place that I needed to be. It was His love and His compassion and His kindness that brought me back and delivered me from that bitterness. So I wanted to be a beacon of change for other women who were experiencing pain like I was feeling, who were feeling rejection, who were feeling anger, who were feeling bitter. And I wanted to help them to get past that bitterness, move on past it so that they could have a successful relationship with somebody else, but above all, so that they could be reconciled back to God and be happy in their life without bitterness. People always ask me why I call it Strong Baby Mama. Well, part of the reason is during my healing process, when I was being healed from that broken relationship, God gave me a book, and I wrote a book about the story about Abram, Sarah, and Hagar that I just talked about. And then also I talk about my own personal situation where I was a baby mama that was bitter and transitioned to strength after being bitter and angry. So I wrote this book, and it's called To All My Baby Mamas, Single Parenting Without Bitterness. Now this book is available on my website, strongbabymama.com, or you can also reach out to me and leave me a comment on Facebook on Strong Baby Mama, or you can also find it on Amazon.com. So this book is available. It's a great book. It's a short read, easy read, and it talks about the details of the story of Abram, Sarai, and Hagar. And also it gives you a little glimpse into my personal struggle with being a baby mama. Also, another reason why I wanted to call it, so I called the book is called To All My Baby Mamas. So I called the movement Strong Baby Mama because, first of all, that term has been used like another term it was used as a demeaning term. And I think that a lot of time women were feeling demoralized or demeaned by saying that they were a baby mama. It means that you're not married. But really what I want women to realize is that we are not defined by other people's words. That's just a word, baby mama, and it's just a word to describe who we are in somebody's life. And to me, it is an honor to be someone's mother. And mama is a term of endearment. You don't hear people going around talking about mother, at least not in the United States. We call them mom or mama. So I wanted to reclaim that term because being a mother is a blessing from God. Not everybody is blessed to be able to be a mother, and mama is a term of endearment. And I call it Strong Baby Mama because it takes a level of strength to be able to raise a child on your own, to be single and raising children. And it takes a lot of strength to be able to successfully parent a child either on your own or to co-parent a child with someone with whom you may not get along with, who you don't agree with all of their tactics. It takes a lot of strength. So I call it Strong Baby Mama to remind single moms that you are strong, you're stronger than you think, and that you're somebody's mama. That's a term of endearment. Your child loves you unconditionally. So hence we get the term Strong Baby Mama. I call this a movement, the Strong Baby Mama movement, because a movement is a group of people that's taking actions to bring about a social change. So as I mentioned, I called it Strong Baby Mama because we want to take back and reclaim the term baby mama. Some people think it's derogatory, and I don't necessarily think it's derogatory. I don't think that there's anything wrong with when someone referring to someone as their baby mama. So I call it a movement because we are standing up for who we are, understanding our position in someone else's life, and not being ashamed that we're not somebody's wife, but that we are the mother of their child. So I call it a movement because we're doing social change. We're changing the negative connotations associated with being called somebody's baby mama. And that's why we call it a movement, because we are making a social change. Because even though we are baby mamas, that's not all we are. There are so many levels to being a single parent. So the movement is to bring about social change to correct the negative stereotype about being just a single parent, about being a baby mama. Why am I qualified to lead the movement? The grace of God, simply the grace and mercy of God. It was only through His grace and His mercy did I get through the painful situation that I experienced. It was only through His love and His kindness that I was able to move forward. And it's just God's grace, God's ability, God's anointing that's been poured upon me to minister to single moms. And also because I used to be them. Well, I am them. I am a strong baby mama. So I understand the hurt. I understand the bitterness. Even though I don't condone behavior that is unbecoming, I do understand. I know the hurt that they're coming from. I know the situation that they're going through. And I can relate to them because I went through similar situations that were hurtful. Some situations are worse than mine, and some situations are not as bad as mine. But either way, whether they meet me in there at the beginning, at the end, or in between, I can totally relate to a single mom from 17 years old all the way up to 50 years old. I was 17 years old when I first became a mom. I was on welfare at one point. I had to believe God for diapers. I was on WIC. I was on food stamps. I had to get child care subsidies. So I've been poor, and I've been not so poor. I'm like Paul. I've learned to be abased, and I've learned to abound. And I have learned that I can meet people where they are. I have not been where I am in life right now always, and I've been a single mom, even though I have a wonderful, loving husband right now. At one point, I had to raise my 2 children on my own, so I understand. I did not get along with my son's fathers for quite some time. Oh, and that's another thing, too. I have multiple baby daddies, so I can relate to women who have children by different men. We joke that all of my sons, all of my children, I have 3 beautiful children, 4, I have 1 bonus son. We all have different last names. So I can relate to the mom who had a baby and then had another baby and then had another baby. So, like I said, I used to be you, so I can understand exactly what you're going through. I understand exactly how you feel. And also, I've been through the pain, and I have risen above my situation. So not only do I understand where you are, I can show you the path that will lead you to where you're trying to get to. So I'm competent to lead the movement because I have been in all levels of the movement. Well, it's been nice chatting with you all. Thank you for coming into my living room and chatting with me. Now you know me a little bit better. You understand about the movement, and I'm sure after hearing my story, I know that you want to join the movement too. How can you do that, we ask? Well, first of all, we want you to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment, and let me know what you thought about my past and my present. Don't forget, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will know the next time the show airs. We are coming to you every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. It's been so great having you guys in my living room. It's been a wonderful conversation with us. So again, leave me a comment. Let's make this a conversation, not just me talking to you. I want to hear back from you. And if you know a strong baby mama and you know someone who wants to get their story told, or somebody who's bitter and they need some help to transition from bitterness to being better, leave me their name in the comments or have them to contact me at strongbabymama@gmail.com. I would love to highlight your story on our channel. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. And remember, you're stronger than you think.